The rash wasn't there. Not in the algorithm's training data, not in the neatly labeled pixels it learned from. So when a real patient walked in, presenting a rare, aggressive form of skin cancer, a diagnosis that disproportionately affects certain demographics, the AI didn't just miss it. It actively dismissed it, called it atypical but benign. An oversight? Or something far more insidious, baked deep into the very fabric of the data that taught the machine to see. For years, we've hailed artificial intelligence as the ultimate problem solver. A tireless engine, ready to diagnose diseases faster, optimize supply chains, even predict climate patterns with unprecedented accuracy. Its promise relies on one fundamental resource: data. Billions of data points, meticulously collected, labeled, and fed into complex algorithms. This ocean of information is supposed to make AI impartial, objective, a mirror reflecting the truth of the world back at us, helping us build a better future. But the real world isn't always neat. Critical datasets, especially in sensitive areas like medicine or finance, are often incomplete, scarce, or riddled with privacy restrictions. Imagine needing thousands of images of a specific, rare tumor or millions of anonymized financial transactions. Collecting that much real data is a monumental, often impossible task. This scarcity, combined with the urgent need to protect individual privacy, led to a seemingly brilliant solution: synthetic data. Data generated by AI itself, designed to look and behave just like the real thing, but without the privacy risks. A digital miracle cure for data scarcity, or so we thought. Think of it like this. You have an old, slightly faded photograph. It's a beautiful image, but it has some minor imperfections, a tiny scratch here, a slightly muted color there. Now, you make a photocopy of that picture. Then, you take that copy and photocopy it again. And again. Each new synthetic copy looks fresh, but it doesn't just replicate the original flaws. It tends to amplify them. The faint scratch becomes a prominent line, the muted color shifts further. What was a subtle imperfection on the original photograph, in the synthetic versions, can become a defining, exaggerated feature. This is how synthetic data, generated by advanced AI techniques, can take subtle biases present in its real-world precursors and unknowingly bake them in, then harden and amplify them with each generative step. So why would companies and developers lean into this technology, knowing the risks? The incentives are powerful. Synthetic data offers speed. It's cheaper than collecting real-world data. It promises a seemingly endless supply of clean data, bypassing privacy hurdles, like those governing sensitive medical records. For developers facing tight deadlines and limited budgets, it's a tempting shortcut. A perceived privacy-enhancing technology that lets them innovate faster, scale quicker, and potentially outpace competitors. The focus becomes on quantity and perceived compliance, rather than the intricate hidden qualities of the generated data itself. But here's the critical misconception. Many assume synthetic data provides a fresh, unbiased start, cleansing the digital slate. They believe if you generate enough new data, the old flaws will somehow wash away. That couldn't be further from the truth. Instead of neutralizing biases, synthetic data acts like an echo chamber. The original, often subtle, real-world inequalities, an underrepresented demographic in a medical study, a specific housing type ignored in urban planning data, aren't just copied. They're amplified. The AI, learning from this amplified distortion, reinforces the original bias, making it more pronounced, more entrenched, and far harder to detect or correct down the line. It doesn't solve the problem, it puts it on steroids. The ripple effect of this amplified bias is profound and deeply concerning. In healthcare, as we saw, it means substandard clinical decisions, perpetuating and exacerbating long-standing disparities. An AI trained on skewed synthetic data might repeatedly misdiagnose conditions prevalent in underrepresented groups, leading to delayed treatment or worse. Beyond medicine, it could mean credit algorithms denying loans to entire neighborhoods based on historical prejudices or facial recognition systems misidentifying people of color at a higher rate. It's not just about efficiency. It's about baked-in injustice, scaled up and accelerated, impacting access to opportunities, critical services, and even fundamental rights. The future of AI is undeniably here, but we must choose what kind of future that will be. Synthetic data, while offering immense potential, is not a neutral solution. It's a mirror that can reflect and magnify humanity's deepest-seated inequalities. Understanding this hidden mechanism isn't about shunning AI, but about demanding transparency, rigorous scrutiny, and proactive measures to identify and mitigate bias at every stage. Because if we don't, the algorithms meant to improve our world will simply replicate and amplify the very injustices we're trying to escape, turning our digital future into a deeply flawed echo of our past.